everyone out there. That's what we do on this program right about now, though. Rishi has the Honorable Senator Allyson West, Minister in the Ministry of Finance. Good morning. Welcome to our set. This is a brand new TTT.
It is indeed.
Wonderful. Well, budget convos continue.
Yes, we're continuing to talk about budget, and we will get into taxes a little bit later. And
Sure.
we heard a little discussion there on the property tax, Minister. But before we do that, I'd want to talk a little bit about Petrotrin, because
Yes.
that is a big issue. People are still
burning.
talking about it after the Minister of Finance said that $2.6 billion would be given out in severance payments to the workers there. People want to know how that is going to be broken down. Can we get any update as it relates to that?
Well, I don't have the actual breakdown with me, but it entails settlement of the termination payments, both to permanent and temporary workers. It entails payment of accrued vacation leave and other benefits of that nature. So when we added it all together, when the company added it all together, actually, they realized that the total bill was going to be in the region of $2.6 billion.
Is it that the company is going to use the OWTU collective bargaining agreement document to find the formula to pay these workers?
Well, we had left it up to the company and OWTU to have those discussions about what the termination payments would be. But if you look at the existing Petrotrin agreement, you would see that it's a very generous agreement in terms of payment to workers. So I believe it is on that basis that the payments were computed,
Because
that the liability was computed.
when we had the Minister of Energy on,
Yes.
he said that of the $2.6 billion for the 3,400 workers, it will be, on average, a worker going home with about $500,000. But having conversations with workers there, the question is, you know, there are outliers where some people will be making way more than the average employee within the organization. So to generalize it and say that the average worker is going home with $500,000 may not be accurate or fair to some workers.
Well, when you average out anything, that is what happens. But if you look at the packages of the Petrotrin workers, they are already generous. And the termination payments are based on those, on their salaries. And if you compare that with the termination payments that are legally due under the Retrenchment and Severance Benefit Act, the agreement between the OWTU and Petrotrin allows the workers to get a significantly enhanced package. Enhanced.
Because from what I understand it to be, if you work, say, for five years at the organization, you will get 1 month, 1.25 for the next 5 years, and 1.5 for the years after that when calculating the severance. Is this the formula? I know you said Petrotrin and the union would have worked it out, but any idea on the formula, if that is the formula, or is it something new that they would come up with?
No, as I said, subject to any discussions that the union and the work and the company has, the company is going to proceed on the basis of what is in the current industrial agreement between the parties.
Yeah. And the vacation days you mentioned, that will be taken into consideration as well for the workers?
That's right.
So how long do we have to wait for this?
The company has indicated that the process starts and we expect payments to be made by the end of November. But as you know, there's a court matter that's before the court.
Yes, there was an injunction that was filed by the Oilfields Workers
with bated breath
Union
to find out what happens with that. But the company's agenda would allow for the payment or caters for the payment of these benefits by the end of November.
Yeah. We talked about vacation, but the ability to settle or the other increments that workers would have, say like traveling allowances and that kind of thing, those things would be taken into consideration?
The company has taken into account all benefits due to the workers under the current industrial arrangement.
Medical services.
Yes.
Do you know what would happen to the people who are on Petrotrin's medical plans, the people who have retired, and the staff that would be part of that? I
can't say. I know traditionally the company has continued to provide medical support to retired workers. We haven't got into that depth of discussion with the company in terms of what they plan to do on that issue.
Oh, yeah, because somebody was telling me yesterday, do we really want to take these workers and put them in the public healthcare system? I understand there are new facilities to be constructed in the coming years, as the Minister of Finance would outline. Would have outlined in the budget presentation, but the question is, do we have enough bed spaces for these people? And that is something we might get into.
Well, we are working on those things because we have been increasing the bed spaces. We have Point Fortune coming on stream. We have Sangre Grande coming on stream. We have the Couva Medical Facility coming on stream. So we have been working on that.
Yeah. With Petrotrin now being wrapped up, now the entire thing is going to be wrapped up.
Yes.
According to the Minister of Energy.
When you say the entire thing is going to be wrapped up.
The entire Petrotrin, it's not just the refinery.
No. The refinery is going to be closed. All workers are going to be terminated and paid their packages. And then 800 odd workers are going to be rehired to service the exploration and petroleum segment of the business,
so,
which is what we have determined is the part of the business that is viable.
And is it because the minister was saying that a new company would emerge from it?
It may be that the workers who are going to be engaged in exploration and petroleum will be housed in a new entity, but it's still the operation that is currently carried on by the E&P business of Petrotrin.
Oh, okay, because there was a lot of confusion as relates to what is happening there, you know, because a lot of people saying that, you know, Petrotrin is just the refinery, and then you're hearing, you know, it might be the entire company that will be closed, and then something new will be coming up.
Well, in terms of operations, it's just the refinery. In terms of the legal structure in which the E&P operations are going to be housed, that may be different.
All right. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Allyson West, thank you for chatting with us there about Petrotrin. We will come back with you because we want to talk a little bit about taxes.
Sure.
And in particular, property tax. I know that is something that is very close to you.
Indeed, it is.